Hello, bookworms, bibliophiles, and lovers of all things literature. Welcome to the next chapter of the Braless Book Guild podcast, where we discard our bras and accept everyone for who they are, to talk about books both published and unpublished. We are your hosts, Jenna.
Hi, guys.
Marissa.
Hello.
And I'm Megan. Before we get started, let's talk about what we're drinking today. So, Marissa, what are you drinking?
Jenna, what am I drinking? This is the best part of every podcast when we ask Marissa what she's drinking and she asks me.
Yes.
It's one of the teas from Megan's box from our best friend Hannah.
Best friend Hannah.
Best friend Hannah. And it was a black currant tea. You specifically asked for something with caffeine and fruity. So that's what we got you. And how is it? It's iced.
It is iced. It is good. I like it because I'm so happy that it's not like overbearingly fruity, which was something I was kind of afraid of. But that was my only parameter for you was fruity and fruity and caffeine. But it's good. It's perfectly what I wanted.
I'm so glad. I'm glad that that's what you wanted because I was actually kind of worried when you gave me that parameter because I was like, I did not bring anything with caffeine. And the fruit I don't think Marissa would want. So I was about to just whip something up on the spot until Megan pulled out her box.
Perfect.
Thanks, Hannah.
Thanks, Hannah. Jenna, what are you drinking?
On that note, I'm drinking a tea that's named after our best friend Hannah. It's called Hannah's Orchard. No, it's actually, I don't know if it's named after our best friend Hannah, but I like to believe it is.
You said it's from Washington, right?
I found it in a little tea shop in Leavenworth, Washington, which is the coolest place.
Leavenworth is great, guys. If you haven't been to Leavenworth, please go there.
Oh my gosh,
I
it's
go
the best
back.
place ever. I dream about going back there. It's such a fun little area.
Fun fact, Hannah lived in Seattle for a hot minute, so...
Maybe it is her orchard.
Maybe. I didn't know she had an orchard.
Yeah. It's caffeine free, so it's one of my favorites, but not suggested when breastfeeding, so I haven't got to enjoy it in a while, so, yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Megan?
I don't remember what I'm drinking. It is also from the Tea Forte box.
You had the ginger mint
green...
one.
Oh, it doesn't taste
it's
like
a green
ginger mint,
mango ginger.
Oh.
Or green mango peach or something.
Peach,
like
yeah,
that.
mango
I don't
peach.
know.
But
But it
doesn't
did have a
the...
ginger and mint hint to it, I think it said.
I don't taste any of that. I do taste the kind of sweetness and the greenness, but I don't taste any of the mint or the ginger.
I
But...
bet if you added sugar, you would.
Oh, maybe. Maybe for round
Interestingly.
2.
Yeah.
All right, so we are in week 2 of our Pride Month episodes.
Woohoo!
So last week we did LGB, and this week we are doing TQ. And we're just slowly spelling out the rainbow
mafia.
alphabet. Yeah. Today we're not really going to be focusing on books that are written or about trans or queer characters, but mostly just gender itself.
Yeah.
Which could include some of those, but we'll see. So I have just a couple, but I'm very excited to get started.
It's funny because I honestly thought I only had a couple. And literally in the last 5 minutes when we were talking and looking up quotes and stuff like that, I was remembering different books and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that kind of fits into this. And so I'm going to be a little bit more like Jenna today and flying by the seat of my pants, but it might work out.
You know, Jenna is not flying by the seat of her pants today. She tried to prepare and she realized she has nothing. It's not that I don't want to read books about trans or gender or anything. I just haven't.
Also, I feel like that just speaks a lot about what's out there.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
I think years ago, it was me trying to find any books with lesbian characters in it. And now I feel like they're everywhere. Maybe not everywhere, but they're a lot more common now. Where I think the transition now is, no pun intended, to trans and other parts of the LGBTQ spectrum.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's slowly becoming a lot more, not popular, but talked about and written about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to see
Accepted.
what the world brings out for us.
It's funny because I did look up a lot of books and I was like, I've never even heard of this. I want to read it. I've never even heard of this. I want to read it. And there was one that isn't trans, but it popped up as queer because I had put in trans queer. And just to see if I could even find anything that would fit into that. I was like, I am telling my girls about this because I feel like it's something Marissa would enjoy very much. And yeah, I was like, but I now just added to my TBR by this entire episode. Thanks, guys.
That's what this whole podcast is about, just adding to our TBRs.
Exactly.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Okay, so to get started, I'm going to start off with one that I read recently. I reread the first one, and then I got the second one last year at a book signing and forgot that I had it until I pulled it from my shelf and was like, oh yeah, I never read this one. And that is the Left-Handed Booksellers of London series by Garth Nix, who is my all-time favorite author. And the second one is called The Sinister Booksellers of Bath. And the character in that one, who kind of explores, he is a he, but he does explore his gender identity through different like clothes and stuff. And at one point he dresses up as a girl and says to Susan, oh, do you like me in a dress? And Susan is like, actually, yeah. And he's like, yeah, I thought about maybe, because since it is a magical book, he said, there's a quote about him being like, yeah, I thought about wanting to become a girl. I could change my gender to a girl. It just takes a while magically, but I could totally pull it off. And Susan, the main character, is like, yeah, and that's Merlin. His name is Merlin, and he is one of my all-time favorite characters of just any books because he's the quirky kind of like fun, silly one, but can still hold up a fight kind of character.
That was one of the books that I added to my TBR while reading this. And I was like, I didn't know there was a book. I was like, I didn't know Garth Nix had written a book that was falling on the spectrum, so I added it.
When we go to next week's episode, I have so many. He, I feel, wrote about it very early on.
Okay.
Like in the like late 90s, early 2000s.
That's awesome.
I think it's really cool that he kind of was talking about it subtly. Yeah, so shout out to Garth Nix being awesome.
Yeah.
What do you have, Marissa?
Like I said, I got a lot that came up, but the first thing I really thought of was the book that I have in front of me right now that I went to go grab from my room. It's called Symptoms of Being Human by Jeff Garvin, sorry, I read it upside down. My book's upside down right now. By Jeff Garvin. And it was the first book that I saw that was literally written to be about like gender fluidness. So it's one of those like high school books, where the main character, Riley Kavanaugh, is sometimes a boy, sometimes a girl. And just depends on how they feel that day, but isn't necessarily out. So it's about their journey. And the really cool thing about it is that it never specifically says like what their born gender is or anything like that. It always just talks about how they feel that day and how they present themselves.
That's really cool.
And the first thing, and when you open like the inside cover of the book, says the first thing you're going to want to know about me is, am I a boy or am I a girl? And that's something that I related to growing up, because back in like second, third grade, stuff like that, I was wearing boys' clothes. I had shorter hair. I played basketball. People would always ask me, are you a boy or a girl? Mm-hmm. And so I picked up the book, and it was quite interesting and cool to read. I liked it because, like I said, I hadn't read anything else like it before. Now, I've read it a long time ago. I don't remember how the writing style is or anything. It is his debut book, so I don't remember it being bad writing, though.
That's good.
I just remembered reading it and thinking it was really cool. There's like a love interest in it. It's all about the main characters trying to come to terms with that themselves and their identity. And so they start a blog at behest of their therapist trying to help them. And the blog becomes like really popular and everything. So I thought it was a really good book. I highly recommend it to anybody who's gender fluid or gender queer or anything like that.
That's cool.
I don't actually have anything to add because, like I said, I don't have books that I've read. But when Megan was talking about Garth Nix and him having one, I was also surprised to find out that Rick Riordan and his Magnus Chase series, which takes place in the Percy Jackson world,
sort of
ish, has a gender fluid character in it too. So I was like, hey, look at both of these guys who have been writing for a very long time, having books that have gender fluidity in them. I was surprised by that. also added that to my list. And I know we had talked a long time ago, in our mythology episode, and I had told you guys that the goddess of nothing at all came up as a LGBTQ plus book recommendation, and I'm pretty sure it's because Loki is gender fluid in it, which I guess is actually like kind of a thing in their mythology. So I think that's pretty cool.
That's something very interesting about Loki. I think that people don't explore as much because a lot of people now think of Loki as, what's his name, Tom Hiddleston or whatever.
Yeah.
Who, to be fair, I think Tom Hiddleston would be fine being gender fluid in something, but they just, that's who they imagine now when they imagine Loki. And it's like, I guess Loki was like a shape changer or something like that in Norse mythology.
Yeah.
And so that's part of why they're gender fluid.
Yeah. I thought it was really cool. The more I looked into it, the more I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. You got any more, Megan?
I got a couple. So this is one that isn't until I think the second book in the series, but the Skyward series by Brandon Sanderson. In the second book, and granted, it is aliens. In the second book, Spencer, the main character, goes to a space station and she meets new species of aliens, and one of them is a diome, and their name is Morimer. And they are an alien species that the way they reproduce is the mother and the father meld together. And then so the Morimer is split in half, and like one side is blue, one side is red. And that's like a genetic copy of who they could be once their parents like fully merge into that character, I guess. So Morimer is like a certain iteration of their parents, and they specifically use they them pronouns because that species of alien doesn't really have gender until they copulate, I guess. I thought it was really cool also because Brandon Sanderson is Mormon but still writes a lot about like, you know, real world stuff. And so I thought that was pretty cool that, you know, he has a gender neutral alien.
Yeah.
He was a pretty cool character. I really liked Morimer.
Bouncing off of the alien aspect of that, I haven't read it yet, but we were all just talking about it. Gail Carriger has a whole nother universe set in like space and alien stuff, and one of the novels is called The Fifth Gender.
Oh.
And that one I think is a bit more of a romance novel, kind of smutty. It's very small and a quick read from what I understand, and it talks about like, hey, this is not for kids.
Okay.
But that was one of the books where when I read the inside cover I was talking about, where it gave you that warning of like, hey, this book explores love between many different people and genders and races and aliens and stuff like that. So if that's not what you like, here's all the other books you can enjoy by Gail Carriger.
Right.
But yeah, so that one I know has some sort of gender fluidity in it. I don't know how or what because I haven't read it yet, but it's on my list to read.
If you do, report back.
Will do. And like I said, there's a whole, I think that's a whole world because that's part of her other new series that came out. But yeah, that's part of a whole nother world that I'm sure she does. And the ones that I do know about, I do know she has gender fluid and trans characters in her books, in her Parasol Protectorate and Custard Protocol series. Not sure about Finishing School. I'm sure there's somebody in there somewhere. There's at least one that dresses masculine that's a girl, but
Subverts gender norms.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that is why she's the queen.
Yes.
Yes. My next one is And I Darken by Kirsten White, which isn't technically along those lines, but it is a gender-bent retelling of Vlad the Impaler, and it follows Lada, who is supposed to be the female version of Vlad the Impaler, and how she's living in the 1400s and trying to, you know, live up to her father's like ideals of what a boy should be, but since she's the firstborn, she has to, you know, still prove herself, kind of thing. And when her younger brother, I forgot his name, when her younger brother is considered like the pretty one and the cute one and the one that everyone falls in love with because he's so attractive and outgoing, where she's the mean one and will, you know, hurt people to get what she wants. So she feels that she has to like take care of him, where I'm going with that thought. She feels that she has to take care of him in ways that some might seem cruel, but because, it's the 1400s and she was a woman, she wanted to prove herself. And I haven't read the third one. I've only read the first one and the second one. And I am enjoying them, and I'm interested to see how they end.
And that book has been sitting on my shelf for at least 5 years.
Yeah. It's been around forever.
Yeah, and I've been wanting to read it. It's one of the books that I bought, and I was like, this sounds interesting, and have never been in the right moment to read it.
Yeah. So it also explores the idea of back in the day, back then, a lot of women, in order to get what they want or get power, they would work in the sex worker industry. But she uses it in a different way to bring power to herself emotionally. So I definitely recommend checking it out. It's very interesting.
What was that book again?
It's the And I Darken series by Kirsten White.
I have it if you want to read it.
It's actually called the Conqueror series, but the first one is And I Darken.
I think I've seen it on Jenna's shelf, actually.
Yeah. It's super popular. Kirsten White, she does a lot of gender bent retellings. She did one of Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
And her and Mary Lou, I assume, are very close in friendship-wise, because Mary Lou also started doing some gender bent stuff, where she did one about Mozart's sister, technically.
Nice.
Yeah. And we actually, we talked about that one. That was in an Owl Crate book. It was The Kingdom of Back, but I don't know if you guys...
We did not.
You didn't get that one? Okay. Yeah.
Well, I've got good news for you, Jenna. You'll have at least one book to talk about by the end of the year, because one of my books on the list is Eon, Dragon Eye Reborn.
Oh.
Yeah. Can't go into it, but I will say it's something that I can talk about because it's kind of one of the driving force of the book, and the first thing that they talk about in the book is that it's kind of and I'm going to liken it to a Mulan story of where the main character is pretending to be a guy to move forward. So I can't go into all of it, but it is something that is talked about in there, rather than it just being I'm just gonna be a boy so I can get far in life. It's more than just that, and it was something that surprised me, and I liked it.
That's awesome. I'm excited.
I actually just remembered that we had another one that also came in an Owl Crate box, and it's along the same lines, where she has to pretend to be a boy in order to get into the Phoenix Flight School, and that is the Crown of Feathers series by Nikki Pau Preto. I only read the first one, and it was through audio, and I don't really remember exactly what happened, but I do remember that the guy in that also questioned his sexuality, because obviously he's falling for the main character, and is, I never thought I would fall in love with a boy.
Yeah.
And then she reveals herself to be a girl, and
Jenna, I also have another one for you that I know you've read.
12th Night.
Yep.
I literally
Speaking
just
of.
thought of that. I was like, I guess 12th Night.
Yeah, it's that one had the potential to be such a good one, and it's still one of my favorite Shakespearean plays, but for a fact that if that was rewritten now,
1000% it would be.
Yeah. It would not have been just kidding, the girl will end up with the guy, and she's like, oh, I guess I'll settle for your brother because it's the same thing, right?
Wait, is that what happened?
Yes, it's 100% what happened.
Yes.
Spoiler alert for 12th Night. It's one of the classics.
It's been out for 500 years.
But
at this point, you should know.
Literally, the whole premise is she dresses up as a guy to survive in this country that she landed in or whatever, and she's working for this duke. And the Duke is sending her as a guy messenger to go woo what's her face? Helena Bonham Carter's character. I can't remember her name off the top of my head.
Lady Olivia?
Yeah, Olivia. And he's trying to woo her to marry her, and she's very much I'm not going to. I'm in mourning over the death of my family. And then she starts to fall in love with the messenger, who's really a girl.
Right.
And it's she's falling in love with the girl for her being her.
And what happened is the messenger, at the beginning of the book is on a ship with her twin brother.
No, that's just the beginning of the movie.
Oh, my bad. Beginning of the movie. It starts out that way.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've read the book. I do remember the movie.
Basically what happens was the girl, Viola, has a twin brother, Sebastian.
Yes.
Who she gets separated from him. And so she takes over his persona to live in the world.
Right.
But then Sebastian comes back.
Right.
And they go on to, during this time that Viola is trying to win over the heart of Olivia for the Duke, Olivia starts falling for Viola because she's just so cute and charismatic. And I'm like, you're really falling for her as a person.
Yes.
And then Sebastian comes back and gets tied into this whole comedy of errors type thing. Viola's falling in love with Duke. Duke's like, I can't love you because you're a guy. And then Sebastian shows up, and Olivia thinks Sebastian is Viola as Sebastian and kisses him or whatever. And then the whole secret comes out. Actually, she marries him. That's what happens. And then the whole secret comes out that Viola is actually a girl. And they're like, oh, well, that's perfect because the Duke was in love with you, but he couldn't be in love with you because you were a guy. And Olivia's kind of like, well, I guess I'll settle for your brother.
Not Sydney White. What's the...
Oh, she's the man.
She's the man. It is literally... that. What cracks me up about that is they use the same names.
Oh, yeah. No, they're all
Channing
the same.
Tatum is Duke.
Yep.
The popular girl is Olivia. She is Sebastian / Viola. Like, it's the same names and everything.
My favorite was Marvolio, was the snake.
Right.
Or the spider.
Yes. And I was... I crack up because the amount of times I'm able to tell people, yeah, that's Shakespeare. And they're like, really? And I'm like, it even uses the same names.
Yeah. This is off topic, but one of my favorite quotes, or one of my favorite like back and forths from Shakespeare is in that play, because it's when Sebastian comes to town and he runs into the jester basically, and he goes, do you live by the church? And he's like, well, I live in my home and my home is by the church, so yeah, I live by the church. Anyways, yeah, so 12th Night.
There's my one book.
Yep.
I guess I was kind of
a
gonna...
technicality.
Yes.
Technically, all of Shakespeare was gender vet because it was all played by men.
It's true.
Which that also really I liked to think about with 12th Night, because it was like
a man playing
man playing a woman playing a man.
That's Victor Victoria.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah.
I was gonna say it makes me think of the Harry Potter thing where it's like Helena Bonham Carter pretending to be Hermione, pretending to be Emma Watson, pretending to be Emma Watson, playing Hermione, pretending to be Helena Bonham Carter, pretending to be Bellatrix Lestrange.
Yeah. That is exactly it.
The inception of it all.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to remake 12th Night now, but with the proper ending.
Yes.
Do it. That could be a really successful book, I think.
Yeah. You know, add it to your list of books to write.
Yep. Going on
of the many. Oh, dang. I just found I'm looking through my list and I found another one that's great for the LGB books. And that's Extasia by Claire Legrand.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that book. It was so spooky. I have another one, and this is more on the graphic novel section. And that is Saga.
Yeah, that's true.
Saga is by... It is Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. Fiona Staples, I think, is the artist, and Brian K. Vaughan is the writer, I think. Please correct me if I'm wrong in a nice way, please. And they have, obviously, it is so... If you don't know Saga, Saga is a very graphic novel. Be warned if you want to read it. It is very, very graphic, and in more ways than one. And it's basically a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing where two warring planets, two members of each planet fall in love and have a baby, and that's like the first page.
Yeah,
is Hazel. Little Hazel's born.
Well, it's all written from her perspective, right?
Yeah, Hazel's the main character. She's the narrator, and it has a trans character in it, and that is Petrichor, who is one of the horned people that Hazel's father Marco is from.
Yep.
Yes. And Petrichor played a pretty big role in the book itself. And she is a really cool character. Also, her name is very awesome. Yeah, I love that. I love Petrichor, and I love that, her name is that.
Completed that series?
No.
Oh, no.
The newest one, I think it's like volume 11 or 12 is coming out in like a couple weeks. And they did take a really big hiatus after volume 9 came out because they were just working for like 8 years on it.
Yeah.
And then so they took like a 2.5 year hiatus, and then they came back, and now they're releasing a bunch of volumes, and I'm very excited.
I'm gonna have to like reread that and then catch up because I
Yes.
definitely stopped. I don't know if I stopped on volume 9 when they took the hiatus, although that would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I could not tell you where I stopped story-wise, so I would have to reread it.
If you read volume 9 and you knew where they stopped, you would very much know at what part they stopped.
Yeah.
So I will not spoil it for you.
The problem is I also don't remember a lot of the plot of it either. Like, I remember the TV head dude.
Yep.
That I can't go into it because I remember spoilers about him. And, yeah. I wouldn't be able to go into detail of what I remember in the story.
Okay.
But
it is one that when the new volumes come out, I buy them and I read them. And I'm like, I don't know. But it also does jump through time a lot.
Yeah, it does.
So it kind of like skips forward. It's like, oh shoot, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's go back. And then it goes back.
Yeah.
So that is when I also, when it does complete, I really just want to do a giant binge read of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did once volume 9 came out, is I did do a binge read and then volume 9. And then I waited.
See, I have that problem of like, when it comes out, I will binge read it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it takes forever for the next one to come out.
Yep.
And then I'm like, I want to keep binging it. And then if I can't keep binging it, I forget to go back to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of, I just binged a webtoon too, and now I have that little hangover from it. So.
Oh, I have a hangover because I went to a concert on Saturday, and that's all I can think about. Even on the way over here, I was like, you know what? I really need to finish Defiant, Brandon Sanderson, the 4th book in the Skyward series. I really need to finish that because I have like 2 hours left. And then I'm like, or I can listen to the entire playlist of the concert, the entire set list. And that's what I did.
Nice.
What was the comic that you're hangover from?
It's called Sunset Phoenix.
I love the name.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I actually showed Jenna, I was telling Jenna about it because I binged it like literally the other day and then told Jenna I binged this and I messed up.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is the artist, author, I believe. I think she's both, or they're both. I don't know what gender they are, speaking of. But they put out a little, they made an animated trailer for it, which was super cool and actually pretty well done. But it's basically just, immortals and gangs and stuff like that. It's fun. I recommend it. I don't want to go into it too much because I don't think there's a trans character in that one. There's definitely representation in it though. Mm-hmm. So I recommend it, Sunset Phoenix, and let me look up the author really quick. I think it's Never Draws or something. But yeah.
Megan actually just pointed out to me, I do have one book other than 12th Night. And it was The Dead Romantics. There's representation that the bed and breakfast owner, their pronouns are they, them, and yeah, they
I like
them.
when it's just subtle like that
Yeah.
too, where it's not.
It doesn't
have to
stand
be
out.
about them, or
Right.
it doesn't,
Right.
not even. I want them to be a main character, but it doesn't have to be about the journey of it.
Right. This is I think we're gonna have to redo the ranking. I believe originally last week we decided that Gail Carriger was queen, followed by Cassandra Clare, followed by Ashley Poston, and I think that might have to change because I think Ashley Poston might be overtaking Cassandra Clare.
Because I'm reading, I'm doing the physical copy of Soul of Stars, which is the 2nd book of Heart of Iron.
Oh yeah.
And that one has both gender neutral characters and gay characters.
Oh, interesting.
So all of her books, literally all of them.
Yeah.
Have someone.
She has a lot of LGBTQ representation.
Yeah, Jenna and I were talking about that. You couldn't think of a Cassandra Clare character off the top of our head.
Yeah, not that has to do with their sexuality or their gender. They have a lot of sexuality in it, but not a lot of gender.
Yeah.
At least off the top of our head.
Yeah.
We could be wrong. Please correct us if we're wrong. Tell us which character we're missing.
Yes, please do.
As meanly as you want. I will be mean back.
We also haven't read every one of her books, and we
That's
haven't read
true.
the Magnus Chronicles and stuff like that. So there could be people in there.
That's true. I haven't read the Magnus Chronicles. She does have a whole new series that's not even in the Shadowhunter world.
Oh,
I know. Weird, huh?
I know.
Don't step out of your area.
I say that, but I still need to read Gail Carriger's other series too. I was gonna say, I mentioned another one in a previous episode, which was This Body's Not Big Enough for the Both of Us, which is the androgynous detective who has literally two souls within them that is a brother and sister.
That's right. That one sounds so interesting.
Yeah, that one's definitely a fun read, and I highly recommend just giving it a go because it's one of those quick, just fun reads, and it's got the representation in it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I like it too because it was kind of the opposite of the stereotypes of genders, where you would think like the guy would be the chaotic mad one and the woman would be more reserved and put together, but it's the opposite. The sister is like the chaotic mad one and the guy is more reserved and put together.
Interesting. I like it.
You got more?
I got two more. One of them is book and one of them is a podcast.
Oh.
So the first one I'm going to do is the King of Scars series by Leigh Bardugo.
Oh.
And this is a major, major, major spoiler, so I will be very subtle in what I say, but there is a character that they do not feel comfortable in their body, and then by the end of the series they realize who they really are, and they decide, this is how I want to live the rest of my life. And then one other major character in that series is like, are you sure? Because, you know, I could change you back if you want. And the character's like, nope, this is it. I feel comfortable in my skin now. And yeah, it was like a really good plot twist that was very much hinted at in it's just a duology. So, but in the first book it was hinted at. And I remember thinking like, oh, okay. You know, she just says that she doesn't like being a woman and she's uncomfortable in her skin. And then, you know, I just assumed it was like gender roles because they're in Fjerda, which is like the where Matthias is from. And they have very strict gender roles in that country. And then by the end of the book, she's happy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it had a very good
haven't
ending.
Finished that series. I only read the first book, so I need to read that one.
The one that I got when we went to do the author meet?
Yes.
The author meet was so fun because we had 4 M's.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
It was Mary Ellen, Megan, Maya, Marissa.
Yep.
Yeah, that was fun.
The other one that I thought of, I also brought up in a previous episode, which was the oh god, I already forgot what it was called. If You Could Be Mine. And I forgot the author, so let me look that up really quick. But I brought that up in a previous episode, and that's the one where they are in the country where it's okay to be trans, but not okay to be gay.
Oh, interesting.
And so If You Could Be Mine by Sarah Farzan, which is set in Iran, in which...
Oh, right.
It's,
yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, real life in Iran, it's okay to be trans because they think being trans and changing to your proper gender is curing an illness within you, whereas it's not okay to be gay. And so the character explores the idea of transitioning into a man so she can be with her girlfriend. And the thing I liked about that book was the conversation it opened up in it.
Mm-hmm.
Of that, like, why are you looking for this path? Is it because truly inside you feel this way, or is it just an easy escape? And
that's awesome. I like that. I like when it tackles bigger issues like that rather than just like skating over that side of it, which I think is cool.
I think for a lot of people that do end up being genderqueer in some way, whether it's a full transition or just gender fluid or wherever they land on the spectrum of it, they ask themselves that question a lot of like, am I doing this to fit in with society in some other way, or am I finding like an easy answer to something, or am I just being true to who I am?
Yeah.
So
I like that.
I like that conversation.
That's such I like that it goes into that society and how one is accepted while the other isn't, you know, because I feel like, I mean, not so much now, but just even a few years ago, we were growing to be more accepting of homosexuality, but not necessarily of gender and trans and gender fluidity. And nowadays we are definitely moving forward in that. But I think it's interesting that our society is almost flip-flopped.
One of the things that really surprised me that I learned being more involved in the LGBTQ community rather than just me being a part of it, but like actually going to stuff like Pride and stuff, is like there are people within the community that does not accept the full community. Like you will meet gay, lesbian, bi people that don't believe in transgender. And it's crazy to me to think about that. Like, how can you accept yourself when you can't accept others?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Someone told me that being pan should not be a thing because it's a cop-out, basically. When I think being pan just includes everything. Like, yeah, I could fall in love with a transgender person. I could fall in love with a male or a female, or doesn't matter. So to me, I don't understand why that matters.
Yeah, that's people. Well, and you think about it, there's still people out there that don't think bisexuality is a thing.
Yeah.
They think it's one or the other.
What?
Yeah.
It still is a big thing where people debate it.
It's like, if you are with a woman and you're a woman, you are gay. You're a lesbian. And if you're a woman, you're with a man, then you're straight. It's like, that's not how it goes. You are who you are. Whoever you end up with does not change that.
Marissa, you kissed a boy, right?
I've kissed a boy.
Oh, okay. Well, there it is.
I'm straight. Sorry, guys.
plot twist of the century.
Plot twist.
This is a little bit off topic, but I kind of want to go into it. My D&D character with my other group, so not the one that we're in, but my other group, is a gender fluid changeling. So depending on depending on how they want to look that time of day, they change their gender to whatever it is. And they don't care if you call them she, her, he, him, whatever. It's like, yeah, it's whatever I am. Yeah.
Hey,
they'll answer to anything. And they're pansexual. So
that's awesome.
I'm like, I just wanted this person to be like, you know what? Whatever. Anything's cool.
That's awesome.
I'm down for whatever.
I'm open to any possibility. Let's see where the wind takes us. Let's see where the dice rolls.
Exactly. I thought that was, it's really fun because there's a lot of people that talk about, like, if you're, the joke is like, oh, you play D&D and you play a tiefling. How's it being bisexual? But I feel like that's how it is with changelings. Oh, yeah, Jenna.
Everyone looks
so yeah, we're looking at you, Jenna. Jenna plays a tiefling, by the way, in our D&D campaign.
It's a stereotype. But yeah, I think that's what the changeling race now is, the stereotype. It's all like, how's it being gender fluid?
Yes. Do you have any more, Megan?
Yeah, the last one that I have is just the Adventure Zone podcast, which is one of my all-time favorite, and I think it's the Balance arc, which is their very first one where they played D&D, and it is three brothers who played D&D with their father, and the sweet baby brother, Griffin, was the DM, and it was revealed later that one of the characters, Loop, who is Taco from TV's character's sister, is transgender. And I thought that was really cool.
That's awesome.
They just did like a little thing. It's just like, hey, just so you know, Taco has a twin brother who transitioned, and it is now Loop, and it is a she, and that was it. And then that's it. And then they just went on with their story, and it was a very good story. And if you guys haven't listened to it, I highly recommend it. I actually, the Balance arc was so good that I cannot listen to anything after that. Like, I know that they've had like 3 other arcs since then. And I was so invested in it. I got onto the train so early on and was so invested in it. Every 2 weeks I listened to the newest episode, and it was like a staple in my life. And then when they moved on, I was like, how can you I just don't understand how you can move on. It was so good. And so I'm collecting the graphic novels that they have of it.
That's awesome.
And so I really love it.
I know the cool thing about D&D is it's usually got a lot of stuff like that in it, and the stories that come along with it. One of the things I always think about is Critical Role. First of all, Critical Role in general, Matthew Mercer, thank you to everything you do for the community, as far as like, he puts every type of character in there. He's got gender neutral characters, trans characters, characters of any part of the spectrum of LGBTQ. But specifically Campaign 2, one of the main characters in it that Sam Riegel plays is Not the Brave, who's a goblin. And without going too much into it, even though it's been out for a while, but if anybody really wants to go more into it, I feel like Not the Brave kind of ends up embodying like a trans character. And I don't think that Sam meant it to be that way, but it just turned into it, and I think that was amazing.
That is pretty cool.
And the story that he tells with that is awesome.
I've been wanting to get into Critical Role, but it's so overwhelming.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I am so far behind on campaign 3, and I just watch like highlights sometimes because it's a lot to take on.
Yeah.
But campaign 2 was amazing. Highly recommend it to anybody who wants to take the time. No matter how long.
How many episodes is in there? Okay.
You don't want to know.
It's best if you don't
It
know.
takes up a good portion of your life.
Because back in the day, I would only do podcasts on like my commute to work when I was in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And I would listen to like, there's no such thing as a fish. And that's a fun facts podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And as you guys both know, I love me some fun facts.
Yep.
Some good trivia. And then I would listen to The Adventure Zone. I would listen to, I forgot, it was a feminist podcast, Stuff Mom Never Told You. I think that was it. And I just never got into Critical Role because I was too enveloped in Adventure Zone.
Yeah.
And now I think it's just too late.
It's never too late. Unless you're trying to catch up.
Well, now I only do audiobooks.
Yeah, you're never going to catch up to Critical Role. If you're starting from like the beginning, especially if you're starting like campaign 1, which I have not listened to all of, if you're starting from there, you're never going to catch up. I don't think it's physically possible.
I feel that way about My Favorite Murder.
Yeah.
I started at the beginning and I made him at one point caught up, but then I stopped and went like current for a while, and then I stopped again and went back to what I hadn't listened, and I'm like, I now have no idea what I have or have not heard, and I will never know all of it.
Yeah.
Okay, Marissa, do you have any others? We kind of got a little bit off a topic.
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
fine.
good, yeah.
That's what podcasts are for.
That's
just
what
to
podcasts
talk.
are for.
I don't think I had any other specific ones. Like I said, there was a lot that, like, as we were talking, I was realizing it, but I don't have any that I can mention that wouldn't be spoilers for things. So
Yeah.
It's fair.
I'm really hoping that my King of Scars one is not too big of a spoiler, but
I don't think so. I mean, I think once people start reading it, like you said, because I haven't read it, but like if I started reading it right now, I'd be looking for it now. I'm
Yes.
like, oh, this is going to be the character.
but I think if that's what you want for in a series, knowing it going into it might be really good.
Yes, I think that helps out a lot. And I
Mhm.
think, yes, it's great having that, like, ooh, surprise little representation in there is awesome, but also it's good to know when it's in there. So if
Yeah.
you're looking for something for representation, you want to go find that one and read it.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right. Well, I think this will be a shorter episode, but please, if any of our listeners have any recommendations for us, please let us know. We would love to add more to our TBRs. We are always looking for more representation, and we could hopefully talk about it, in an upcoming episode. Oh, like, I just discovered this. Thank you for recommending it.
Also, next year's Pride, it would be nicer to have a lot more to talk about.
Yep.
So,
Exactly. So writers out there,
yeah,
give us more.
definitely.
All right. So let's end this off with, what are you guys currently reading?
I'm so slow about reading Girls of Paper and Fire.
I too am reading Girls of Storm and Shadow. I am like 85% of the way through it. It's a rough one to get through. I feel like it's harder than the other one. The other one I flew through. This one, not so much.
Interesting. Is there a reason for that? Is it like the writing style, the story?
I think it's a story.
Oh.
I think that it's not hard the way the other one was. It's just, Marissa brought it up, I think, before, how it's a journey story. So it's a lot of
Okay, yeah.
you're following the journey part of it, and it's very much the middle book in a trilogy feel, where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I just have to get to this so that we can get to the last book and actually find out what happens in this world, because this is just us,
So I have a theory about it.
Plotting
Do you
it.
mind if I go ahead with my theory, or should I
Yes.
wait for our episode?
No,
No,
go for the theory.
This is based wholly. I am judging books by their covers.
Uh-huh.
So the first book has just the main character, who I completely forgot her name.
Lay.
Lay. And then the second one has Lay and Ren on the cover. And then the third one only has Lay on it, or Ren. I don't know. So my theory is something happens and they break up, or they're separated. I don't know.
Curiouser and
I think
curiouser.
I know enough about the second book without having to finish it to know how that actually plays out.
I do have to
Interesting.
say there's interesting it's a good book to talk about. I was telling you guys earlier, like, gosh, I just want to talk about this book.
And we will.
It does strike a lot of notes that are good for striking up a conversation. So it'll be a good a book for us to talk about. I hope the third book does it justice and is back to like the first feel where I devour it, because then we can totally talk about it.
I think I think what I need to do is get the physical copy of this, because right now I'm reading it on my phone, and I'm reading at work, like when I'm walking back the hallways and stuff like that, and getting in what I can. I think if I get the physical copy and I like take it out to go read, maybe I'll get through it quicker.
I am currently audiobooking Defiant by Brandon Sanderson, which is the 4th in the Skyward series. Very excited for the series to end, except I also have such a book. He has 4 novellas about, like, because I've told you guys before, my issue with the series was that each book is a different, she goes to a different world basically and like befriends the people of that world, and I just fall in love with characters and then they're gone. But he has novellas, and quote novellas, because they're freaking 300 pages long. Sir Brandon, Mr. Sanderson, please calm yourself down. So there are 4 novellas out now as well about all of those side characters that now I want to read, but they go in between each of the books, and I'm very sad. So I don't know if I don't want this series to end, I'll go and read the novellas. But anyway, I'm reading that one. I'm doing the audiobook of that one, and I am doing the physical copy of Soul of Stars by Ashley Poston.
Nice. My Sunset Phoenix. I've just remembered they do have technically a gender neutral character in it.
Oh, cool.
And it's because you don't know their identity, so they just refer to them as them.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
I also forgot that this is totally, it won't go into this podcast. We can decide whether we want to add it in somewhere else. You guys can cut and paste as you desire.
It's super easy, I promise you.
At the very end, I hope you just cut this in there and be like, this has nothing to do with anything. So Jenna's talking about it at the end. No, I was going to say the book that I had looked up when I was looking at for queer representation that I wanted to recommend to you guys it's called Dear Medusa. And it's a book written in verse. And it's about, it kind of has that Speak vibe, I guess, about a girl who was sexually abused by a teacher, I guess. But because of that, everyone starts, like slut shaming her. Then a new girl at school she starts falling for. And I was like, I like that because it popped up as a questioning book in queer. And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds interesting. And I was like, but it's written in verse. And I haven't read a book in verse in a long time. So I thought Marissa would like that. And it has a lot of like quotes that refer back to Medusa, obviously, because of, the whole thing. So yeah. I was like, maybe we have to read this one.
I actually need a poetry book for my planner, because one of the prompts is poetry, and I was either going to do the Nikita Gill one that you've talked about a bunch, or last year I did Clap When You Land, which is a novel in verse.
Oh, nice.
Which counts as poetry.
Yeah. This one, it looks really good. I was like, I want to go up to half price and see if I can find a copy of it.
All right. So to end on a quote, as always, we have a quote from the queen herself, Gail Carriger. One should do what one is best at on as large a scale as possible. And I think that's a good quote for this episode.
Yes.
Be who you are.
Yeah, good job proud. Finding it, Marissa.
Thanks. You want a Gail Carriger quote? I'm going to look them all up. Had too much fun doing that.
It was a lot of fun.
I just want to quote her always in my life at all times. I will continue to only speak in Gail Carriger quotes now.
But first, tea.
But first, tea.
All right, so thank you for joining us. Next week, we're going to be going into our plus, the LGBTQ plus.
Nice.
So look forward to that.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.